I gotta stop yawning today. Ready? Good? The chair will call the January 20th, 2026 meeting of the City Council to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Deputy Clerk Judge, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Gregory.
Here.
Alderman Williams.
Here.
Alderman Rockford.
Here.
Alderwoman Purchase. Alderwoman Notriano.
Here.
Alderman Carlson.
Here.
Alderwoman Conley.
Present.
Alderman Donilon.
Here.
Alderman Hanauer.
Here.
Mayor Misty Busher.
Present.
Miss Mayor, a quorum is present.
Thank you very much. The civility pledge: in the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. This evening, there are no proclamations or presentations. The first item on the agenda will be docket number 2025-049 for the property located at 713 North 4th Street. Petitioners are Michael and Lauren Dodge. Present zoning classification is R1, Single Family Residence District, Section 155.015. The requested zoning relief is reclassification to R3B, General Residence District, Section 155.018, and a variance of Sections 155.112, surfacing to allow a gravel surface for parking and drive lanes, 155.480I, landscape screening and lighting regulations to reduce the transitional buffer yard to 0 feet and to remove the requirement for screening, and 155.480K to remove the parking lot and site lighting requirement. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval. Concur with the Regional Planning Staff recommendation for approval. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we accept the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the Planning and Zoning recommendation. Is there any discussion from the council? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed will vote no.
I'm trying.
You got in. And the motion passes with 9 voting yes and none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2025-050 for the property located at 2730 South 6th Street, tenant suites B and C. Petitioners are Shiva Plaza Springfield, Inc. The present zoning classification is B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033. The requested zoning relief is a conditional permitted use pursuant to Sections 155.033C7 and 155.200 to operate a tavern with liquor sales by the drink, and 155.033C8 and 155.210 to permit retail sales of packaged liquor. The request for a conditional permitted use is limited to the area referred to as 2730 South 6th Street, tenant suites B and C of the strip center, containing 3,120 square feet of interior space with dimensions 52 feet at the front and 60 feet in depth. The Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval of the requested conditional permitted uses, provided that 1, the business is limited to 1 establishment in total in the tenant spaces B and C, with a floor area not to exceed 3,120 square feet as noted in the petition and its exhibits, and 2, hours of operation are limited to the city liquor license. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval. Concur with the staff recommendation for approval. The chair will now entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation and their concurrence.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the Planning and Zoning recommendation and their concurrence. Any discussion from the alders? Let it be noted that Alderwoman Purchase has joined us. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Seeing none, the voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is docket number 2025-053 for the property located at 2631 North Dirksen Parkway. The Petitioners are NLD Acquisitions LLC. The present zoning classification is Sangamon County I-2, but upon annexation to the city, pre-zoned I-2, Heavy Industrial District, Section 155.041. The requested zoning relief is upon annexation, reclassification to a B1 Highway Business Service District, Section 155.033, and a variance of Sections 155.001 to allow two principal uses on one lot, 155.320 to allow one pole or pylon sign in the front yard of a zoning lot and ground signs to be a minimum of 50 feet apart, and 155.321 to exclude the existing advertising off-premises sign billboard area from the sign area of this tract. Springfield Sangamon County Regional Planning Staff recommendation is approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation is approval, concur with the staff recommendation for approval. The chair will now entertain a motion.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendations, please. Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Springfield Sangamon County Planning and Zoning staff recommendation. Is there any discussion from the alders? Seeing none, voting will now be open. All those in favor of the motion will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. This concurs the zoning portion of our meeting. Chair now recognizes Treasurer Redpath Fager for presentation of the financial report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Treasurer's report for the corporate fund for the month of December. The beginning balance is $62,159,590. We took in total receipts of $14,418,469. Total disbursements in the month of December, $10,900,235, which left the corporate fund ending balance for the month of December at $65,672,824. There was an ending general fund balance that included $5,738,527, which is the ARPA balance for December. That concludes my report. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The chair will entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will now recognize Assistant Finance Director Ajizi for any questions on the OBM contract report. Is there any questions come from the council? Seeing none, we will move forward. The chair will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the January 4th, 2026 regular city council meeting and approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council first reading of ordinances into the record of this council meeting.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to incorporate the pre-council reading of the consent agenda into this record of this council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The chair will entertain a motion to remove agenda item number 2026-030 from the consent agenda and put back and hold in committee.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the alders on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, do you want them to vote on the machine on this, or just can they do a voice vote?
Voice vote's
Vote.
fine.
All those in favor of the motion to hold in committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Mayor, out of clarification, I thought you said 30 and I couldn't find it. What was the?
2026-030. It should be a liquor, right? Liquor license?
First one, general city business.
Yes, it's
that's
a
not-
Class B liquor license that was requested, and now that change has been put on hold.
So
That's on the first reading.
Agreed.
Okay, sorry, that was my confusion too, thank you.
Sorry, I thought that was on consent for today. That's my fault.
Okay, nix that.
We're extra careful. No
We're
big
being
deal.
extra
Thank you.
careful.
Sorry.
Do that next week.
All right, so, do I need, they're okay then? Okay. The chair will now entertain a motion to place the agenda, the consent agenda on final passage.
Move, Mayor.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, you will vote on your machines for that. All those in favor of the consent agenda, please vote yes. Those opposed, please vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. Agenda item 2025-497 remains tabled or in committee. Any motion on that? Seeing none, we will move forward. The next item on the agenda is 2025-013, an ordinance authorizing execution of an agreement with the State of Illinois Department of Transportation and the City of Springfield for the 19th Street Corridor Feasibility Study, MFT Section 25-00502-00ES, for the Office of Public Works. Give me 1 second if you would, please, Alderman. Let me entertain a motion to put this on final passage.
So move.
A
Second.
motion and a second. Okay. Now, all those signed up to speak, Alderman Gregory.
Yes, before we put this on final passage, for this 013-014, Murdoch, I had requested that we work on an amendment that just does nothing but inputs the timeline of when the study starts, when it stops, and that study will come back to council before our next budget hearing.
Is that
The study needs to be complete before the budget is passed?
Yeah, they said it would start in May. It would take 90 days.
We have to pass the budget before the end of February.
No, I'm talking about next year's.
Okay. I'm like, oh,
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
not enough time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Scared
No,
me.
no, next year's budget, FY '28. Yes, that would be my amendment.
Do you mind if I bring up Hanson to ask if that timeline will work? Are you
Yes,
okay with
ma'am.
that,
Yes,
Alderman?
ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Can I ask someone from Hanson come out and just discuss the timeline with us?
Hi, Mike Mendenhall with Hanson, and then have Jeff Myers with Hanson here as well. The timeline for the study is approximately 6 months, and the study can start once, if this is passed, and then IDOT has to sign the agreement as well. We're hoping that within the next month or two, IDOT will have that signed here shortly, and then we can start the study. So it's going to be dependent on how quick IDOT can really get the agreement signed, and that's out of our control here.
Right.
So, and then the study's about 6 months long.
See, this is why, and no disrespect to you or anybody else, but we've heard 90 days last
I
week.
stated 6 months last meeting, and then the Public Works Director indicated that 90 days within that, the results, it'd take us 6 months, 90 days within that, the results would be shared with everybody. So that is what was stated last week.
Okay. So give me a timeline. When are you going to start? When do you anticipate starting it?
We would anticipate within the next month or two.
Okay. So
If we are delayed by IDOT signing the agreement or something, it'll push that back. We can't get started until IDOT signs the agreement.
So would starting by May be, I'm really trying to get to the community so we can explain to them what we're doing, so we
Yeah,
can really get some
definitely.
feedback and things
Yeah,
like that.
we want to have the public
and
meeting
get a
and get
concrete timeline.
feedback, and yes.
Yeah. So would May a start date, is that fair?
Depends on how, I think it's fair, but if IDOT delays it, it may not be May. It could be after that.
And y'all will communicate that with us?
Oh, yeah,
Surely IDOT's
definitely.
not gonna.
Yeah. Yeah, the city will definitely know that, and yes, for sure.
Okay.
And Alderman, I will tell you, you have a commitment from you and Alderman Williams. You've been included in some meetings recently, and you'll be continued with those, so.
Absolutely.
You both of you will know.
And I just want to be very, very clear to everybody. I'm thankful for you bringing us up to speed on this meeting. I'm looking at this as starting brand new, starting over, leaving the past where it's at. But I'm not trying to repeat the past either. And I want to have a concrete timeline and when we'll get this back, when we can look at it at council so we can know the next steps, so we can not only do our jobs as council members and see what we can do as a city to help that move along, but also advocate and lobby to higher up to get some help for it as well, because we know we're going to need that.
Yeah,
and
that would be
we want
great.
to, put that all in, in here and be in agreement that we're going to do these things. And that's just, where I'm at for various reasons. And I respect everybody who I work with. All right?
Mike, may I real quick? I believe once IDOT signs it, the mayor will sign it as well, right?
The mayor can sign it first, and then it can go to IDOT.
So I guess I can just ask them to confirm with me when IDOT signs it, and then we can at least let you know when it's signed
Yeah.
Sure.
to help you out.
That's fine. So can we start it by May, and 6 months from May would be what? May, June, July, August, September. December, that'd be December. 90 days from there.
If IDOT signs it, that's when we can start. So optimistic that should happen before May.
So let's do this. Let's go May start. Give me an update December 26th of where we're at with it.
If we're able to start in.
If we're able to
yes,
start,
if we can start in May.
everything
Yes.
goes well, but give us an update either way in December 26th. Let's plan
think
on
that
starting
sounds
in
great.
May. Give me an update in 26, and then we'll go from there. That fair?
Yes.
Yeah, well, definitely, you'll get tons of updates, I
Yeah, we're gonna
promise.
have all kinds
I
of.
appreciate you. Thank you. That would be my amendment, Mr. Murdock.
So,
So an amendment that provided IDOT signs the contract, this survey will be, will commence no later than May of 2026, and an update will be provided to the
By
city council
December
in
of
December of
2026, either way.
2026.
And we'll go from there.
do you need to speak before we?
I do.
Alderman, do you mind before we bring that
Sure,
up? Like,
absolutely.
first
Yeah,
and a
Alderman,
second,
I
can we
just-
let Alderwoman Conley push her button? Do you mind if she speaks?
This is to the amendment. I think it's a good idea. I appreciate you wanting timelines in there. I just want to make sure that there are certain things that are out of Hanson's hands, and I would hope that IDOT would work with us, and this would not be a complicated thing, but I've also, we've experienced what IDOT, how they can have delays and their work schedules, and I just want to make sure that as long as that language is in the amendment, I'm happy to support that we're not somehow holding Hanson subject to IDOT's whims.
No, not at all. I just want to be clear. I mean, this is funding that's coming from IDOT for this purpose. I don't,
Right.
see why they wouldn't agree to it or
I
change
don't see why they
anything.
wouldn't agree. I guess I'm just concerned. Again, we've seen what's happened with MacArthur. We've seen what's happened with other IDOT roads and other projects within the city limits that, the city doesn't have control over. Hanson has probably even less control over although you do get to work with IDOT a lot, I'm sure. So and if, I would also add, just, if nothing else, if we could get notification when this is sent to IDOT, when that transfer has happened, so that we know that, Hanson has done their first stage in due diligence, and then we can we know whose hands it's in, and who we need to be talking to at that point.
Absolutely. I can, I totally respect that. I guess I have more faith in IDOT in this whole process. But I totally respect the work. I understand things do take a little time. And one thing that me and my colleague and others will be doing is advocating at the state level to at least get that done.
Absolutely. That's a great
as we
idea.
have to this point. So that's my amendment, nothing too drastic. I appreciate you, sir, all your work and your openness and coming to city council, when Hanson topics are on the board, because that doesn't happen all the time. Appreciate you.
So do you mind, Alderman, that the amendment reads to amend the ordinance with a goal of starting the study by May of 2026, and then Hanson will come back to the council December of 2026 with an update?
Yes, ma'am. And let me
Would you like it to say?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. And I want to, my colleague in Ward 3 and Ward 1 and Ward 4, I hope we're all comfortable with this, because it travels through all of our wards.
Sure
and
does.
anybody else. So I don't want you guys to feel like it's just me. Feel free to speak up and your thoughts as well.
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's fine.
I'm good with it.
Updates are good.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend the ordinance with the goal of starting the study for May of 2026, and Hanson coming back to visit us in December of 2026 with an update.
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment first from anyone? Or, nope, okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. So now we have an ordinance on final passage 2026, is it 2026 or 2025?
It's 26013 is what we're on.
Okay, this said 25.
As amended.
So 2026-013 as amended will be up for vote on your machine. So can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amended ordinance? Seeing none, all those in favor, please vote yes. All those opposed, please vote no. And the ordinance passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is 26014, an ordinance authorizing execution of a professional services agreement with Hanson Professional Services, Inc. to begin preliminary engineering services for the rail corridor, an amount not to exceed $500,000 for the Office of Public Works. Chair will entertain a motion to place agenda item number 2026-014 on final passage.
So move.
Second.
And any discussion on this one? Alderman Gregory.
Just real quick, Corporation Counsel, do you advise that I need to do the same amendment in this one as well?
I think this would be appropriate to do it as well because this is the contract with Hanson.
Thank you, sir.
So we have an amendment to the agenda item to have a goal of the study starting by May of 2026, and then a update by from Hanson in December of 2026. Would that be correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now we have an amended item on the consent agenda of 2026-014. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on the amended ordinance? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. The next item on the agenda is item number 2026-017, an ordinance authorizing the extension of an intergovernmental agreement with Sangamon County Department of Public Health for animal control services within city limits and authorizing a supplemental appropriation and payment for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $538,447.05 for the Office of Budget and Management. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in, discussion. Alderman Williams, you have signed up to speak.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm not surprised that we didn't hear back, and they are not here to explain. They did send a report that came through at 5 p.m. I don't know if the others who are going to vote yes already understand and know what that report means or not, but the only thing that has happened has been that report, but that's just the arrogance of them knowing that they're going to get their way, in my opinion. Those of you who support this, I think I've done my job well enough of explaining that we have substandard enforcement of animal control. Substandard, just period. They're not even coming telling us how many trucks they have, how they're improving it or anything. But let me start by asking well, she's not here tonight, corporate counsel. So this,
The assistant director is here if you have a budget question.
538,447.05, that's a lot of money to me. So is this taking care of a previous work that they've done, or is this us approving for them from this day on to go on and be animal control for us?
He's just making sure his mic's working.
Okay, it's fine. Where?
This is actually for FY '26, so services rendered.
So when the 28th comes of next month, what's going to happen?
I believe that is being negotiated right now.
So-
The purchasing director would have more information on that.
Okay, so,
Alderman, if I may, we have asked them to give us quarterly updates for the new fiscal year so that every quarter we have an update from Animal Control of Services that we can share with you.
okay, so there'll be, well, I guess when, this is what I'm saying. When we see whatever we're going to get ready to approve for them, we should know about the update and about these other questions that I have. I personally feel like at least 2 of the trucks need to be dedicated to Springfield, Illinois. We're the largest city in the county. Wards 2, 3, and I believe 4, I may be wrong, 4 or 5, constitute the majority of the calls. You know, and I can't figure out why the numbers are so bad. The numbers are horrible, and that might be why I didn't get that. Did anybody else get the report at 5 o'clock?
Looking at it now.
Huh? Well, that's my whole point, is we finally get a report from them to show how they did for the year. And it's horrible. The numbers are horrible. They didn't meet their goal the majority of the time, in Springfield. And I believe it's because of the wards that consist of these calls, the majority of these calls about the enforcement side. Now, I think we do pick up some of the other wards when we talk about spading or catching them and spading and releasing and all this nicey stuff with that we do with the shelter. But the problem and where they're subpar is on the enforcement side. If this council wants to vote and allow them to continually to operate the way they operate, fine. I'm just putting it on the record right now. I've had 2 puppies killed. I had a kitten killed. And that's not the shelter's fault. That's because they didn't keep the bad animal. That's because some of these animals have been reported more than one time. They don't want to come here and face these questions. I got a woman who had, in Bel Air, a nice little subdivision in the South, who has teenage children that don't want to stay home. They go stay with other relatives because there's a dog that continues to howl and whine all night, and we had her record it, we had her do all these other things, still no remedy. So these teenagers, almost adults, but still teenagers, tell mom and dad, well, we can't stay here because we can't get no sleep. I got a dog on Converse across from Lanphier. The child was drugged by a dog that had been reported several times. I have situations. I feel they should have been respectful enough to come tonight and go through these things before a setup who's going to just give them money. I think that's a shame. I've stated my case, and I know this council is going to do what they're going to do. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Carlson.
You know, I've got to agree with Alderman Williams, again, just what he had said last week on the front end. And I think we all had the opportunity the last couple of weeks to talk to animal control. I took that opportunity this week, talked to animal control a number of times, and I'm sort of grateful in the fact that we're only going to have to pay $500,000 of the almost $900,000 that we owe. And the director, Mr. Ridley, who reached out to all of us, he said, you know, the city constitutes about 95% of the calls at animal control, but yet their budget is nearly $2.5 million. We're only in for $500,000. I mean, that's a heck of a deal during budget season right now. I mean, I'll take that all day long. I mean, that is a good number, and we should be grateful. I mean, we heard last week, we put out an RFP. No one else wants to do this, and certainly, as a city, we don't want to take this on and open up our own animal control. I mean, you know, we just can't take that on. So, again, animal control agreed that they want to speed some things up on the front end. Right now they have, 5 vehicles, 5 officers, and that's why, like the mayor said, they told me the same thing. They want to give us quarterly reports. And so, again, I think we're saving $300,000, and for me, you know, I thank them for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Gregory.
Thank you, Mayor. So I agree with my colleague and what much has been said here, and I don't think we owed $800,000. That was the new contract that they was trying to get us for. Am I correct in that, Corporation Counsel?
They're charging us under the 2023-2024 contract. We did not have a contract for the last year.
So, what was the new contract amount that we were negotiating?
Well, so the way the fee was brought down was during negotiations. We said that under our code, we only required a certain number of days to be boarding, and if they chose to board more, we weren't going to pay for those. And so that was a lot of that discussion, because that number, the 900,000 number, billed us for all boarding days.
Okay. All right, that's good information. I took some notes here. You know, I respect that thought that the city is 95% of this dog, cat, groundhog, whatever problem, animal control issue. And you know, I always hear we boast that the city's in the county. The city's in the county. So they have a responsibility to pitch in as well. As you know, as well as other entities in the county. So with that said, make a long story short, I respect Mr. Ridley. The Ridleys, they are talkable people, and you know those conversations can be had. But in the end of it, a lot of this is about people and how many people we got to service the city and service this county. I can't pull up my screen to see how many trucks and all this that they got. But my recommendation would be that we give them enough money to add 2 more people that are stationed for City of Springfield, since we're 95% of the dog catching activities or animal control catching cities. We should just have them assigned to here, and whatever else that they need to do that's not in their contract, and maybe we can get a new contract 2 or 3 years. Ralph, what we usually go on? Alderman Hanauer, 2-3 years contracts? I know you always fuss if it's too long.
I think it's anywhere from 3 to 5, I think, isn't it normal?
And why don't we get a deadline to work out a concrete contract, so we're not going a year again without being paid, and give us a number that's going to give us some guaranteed staff here in the city of Springfield. And whatever is, you know, I think they got a number in their head of what they want to charge us, and let's pay it, and let's see if it'll get better within reason of money. But what, 120,000, maybe 200,000 for 2 people should be suffice. And then the building and the boarding and all those things. I mean, they're putting money in their buildings. Put money in that too if we need more space. But you know, I think we do our part with getting 2 people in this. If that's something that we could do, Mayor.
I had actually suggested to the chief of staff that we start getting you together 2 at a time to find all your needs out, and then sit down with them and put that in the contract. Would you be?
Sure, this is, you know, I want to respect my colleague and his wishes and what he wants to try to do. That was just my thought on how to try to help in this situation, because there is some, you know, I got calls even from outside my own ward about people who went through different situations on dogs. And, you know, I think it's unfair to sit there and be like, well, you know, the guys and ladies who are working are just lazy because they're, you know, they're working. It's just a large space, and you know, they need some more people, just like anything else that we do in the city. That's just my recommendation, Alderman, and those who, you know, really are passionate about this, feel free to, you know, give your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Donlin?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the conversation on this topic. You know, I have a question of Corporation Counsel. Have we begun negotiations for the upcoming fiscal year for the new contract? Has that started yet?
With the county on this project, we're in conversations with them, yes.
Okay, and the new period obviously is March 1, correct?
Yes.
So this contract, just to be clear, it pays us for past services in a month, essentially, a month and a couple weeks.
The fiscal allocation in this ordinance is for past dues, and then we will receive a bill for the additional services for the month and a half.
Okay, I understand. I appreciate those negotiations, by the way, and the fact that the numbers Alderman Carlson alluded to earlier have gone down. Alderman Williams, thanks for bringing this up, though, because, you know, any time that I've personally had an issue in Ward 9 with animal control, it's never pleasant. I mean, it's a situation where we have usually it's loose dogs in the neighborhoods, and people are scared, as you described, and, you know, I've had the very same thing happen where someone says, my granddaughter won't even come to my house because of this. Now, the experiences I've had is with animal control, we do get them involved, we get the PD involved occasionally as well, and they've been very helpful. I've had meetings in that very conference room over by Mr. Griffin's office with animal control about some issues that were repetitive, and it seems like the individuals that are there presently are receptive to that. So, Mayor, I'm happy to hear that you are offering for us to, a couple at a time, to be involved in those conversations, because each, you know, the issues are the same, similar, but they're different as well. And I've heard some serious things brought forward. I don't think we really have a choice as a city but to pay the pass bill. How it's handled in the future is something different. I will say that I wish, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. I do wish I had a time machine, and we could go back to the days it was when they started doing animal control for the city, because, and I know those days have passed, I want to be clear here, we can't go back, but the agreement originally was that they take it over and we pay nothing. But climate change, economics change, I get it. Again, I'm not suggesting we go back to that. I don't think that's realistic.
We like it.
But there is some responsibilities there. I think we need to be involved, and I appreciate that as a compromise, and I intend on voting for this. Thank you.
Well, and each of you have different needs, so I wanted you to sit down together and just 2 by 2, because if I'm in the room, we're in violation of Open Meetings Act if it's more than 2. And then I also was going to talk to each of you about adding 2 additional ordinances that are internal, that if we do have dogs who are excessively mean, or however we decide with our legal counsel to write that up, Alderman Williams, that we can fine them here with a large fine, so that we don't promote that kind of behavior in animals. So I will work with you all on that as well.
Do it.
Anything else, Alderman Donlin?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman Williams, I appreciate you pushing for us to get this report that came, albeit, you're right, very late. I didn't even realize it had come in. I'm looking at all the red
That's what I'm saying.
on these bites. Some of this represents days and delays in responses. I know that animal control is trying. I want to point a couple of things out in terms of background. A, we do not, as a city, have a seat on the Public Health Board. We've asked. Alderwoman DeSenso is not on this council anymore. I don't think anyone could have asked more vehemently than she has, but we don't have that seat, and there have been decisions that are being made that while we pay, and we're paying more than what our contract requires us to pay. I mean, let's be honest, we are paying more, and I don't disagree that that's appropriate. We should be. I appreciate that the county is taking the shelter, that it is no-kill. I appreciate that the people work there. I will always support them. I will always support the way they're pushing this out. I think if anyone wants a pet, your first step should always be adoption. Always be adoption. There are fabulous animals out there. But that said, days for responses when there are bites. There are people who are not responsible owners in this community, and there are people, we've got them in all of our wards, who are being very negatively impacted by that. I also want to mention, I withdrew my breeder ordinance because didn't have support for that. Part of the problem with the animal control, it's a simple economics. If there's too much supply and not enough demand, they're full. So it's not just a let's hug the puppies and be warm and fuzzy about this. You're pointing out, this report shows significant breakdown in how this is managed, in how we're handling animal control. We need to make sure that people understand there are all sorts of components that feed into this problem and complicate it. We do need to be looking at how people are breeding in backyards and overwhelming supply and then dumping animals. And then who picks it up? The county does. They get dumped all over the place. So the county is left holding this bag. We need a seat at this table. We need a seat that's more productive and more engaged than just negotiating our contract. Because they're clearly, we're paying above what our contract will require us to pay. Am I correct? I mean, we're paying for more than the days that we have in our contract.
This would be higher than the 2023-2024 contract, lower than the rates they're charging other communities who renew their contracts.
That's fine, but those other communities, I also want to point out, we're all residents of Sangamon County. I mean, this is not the county gifting us anything. This is an expectation. Our county government has a requirement to provide us as city residents services also. I was talking about when I came in here, I've got dog hairs all over me, right? Because of my dog that I have at home. I pay for the rabies shots. We have the tags. I pay county taxes. I pay city taxes as a resident. We contribute in multiple ways to the running of this shelter. We need to have, Mayor, we need to have a more engaged voice in interactions with the county when it comes to them making these changes, because I think we need to have a much more honest conversation about what the real expenses are of running a no-kill shelter, which is a priority for our community. I have yet to hear anyone come out and say, nope, euthanize those animals faster, let's get them out. That's not what we want. But if we're changing direction and we agree upon this, let's have this as an open and honest conversation. I have, Alderman Williams, again, you pushing this is the right thing to do. I appreciate you taking the lead on it, but you're not alone on this. I stand in complete solidarity with you, and as I know other council members do too. We're seeing these negative impacts in our neighborhoods. We're seeing people who are uncomfortable. And we need to understand it's expensive, right? We know this. Everything costs money, and those costs have not gone down for anyone. So I think the county needs to be honest about what their increased expenses are, have a more realistic conversation around what does our shelter really need to look like. Alderman Gregory, yes, what does their staffing need to look like? Does the county need to maybe raise some of their fees? That may need to be the honest conversation we have. I know I get a flyer from my county rep every election season talking about how they keep their taxes low. Okay, but the services cost money. And this one is critical. This one impacts all of our quality of lives, and people's pets are important to them. And if we need to move this conversation, I intend to support this. I think we need to pay a more fair share of what this costs us, but I also think the county needs to be much more upfront, and I wish they had come in tonight so that we could really start this open conversation. Mayor, I will sit down as best I can with my schedule. I hope that the county officials understand this is not us as a city trying to slam them or denigrate them in any way. They're dealing with a lot of competing forces and demands on their services, but I think the county needs to be honest too. They may need to up some of their fees, and I understand what I'm saying, talking about increasing fees, right? But let's be realistic. We want our people to be safe. We want our pets to be safe. If we want a no-kill shelter, we need to be open and honest about what that's going to cost. And Springfield City residents pay. We do pay, and I understand, Alderman Carlson, where you're saying, you know, is it a bargain for us? Yes, but it's also a service the county provides. And the county needs to be open and honest about how their expenses have changed and what their expectations are. I understand wanting to, I guess kind of a little bit of this frustration is the city looks like we're the only ones who ever raise anything, right? But we're being realistic about what costs and what our needs are. And I'm looking forward to a much more fruitful conversation around this issue. So thank you, Mayor, for getting this started. I will also put in yet another plug. I think we as a city need to have a seat. Maybe it's a city staff. It doesn't have to be an elected official, but we need to have a more active seat on the county health department, on their board, because that's where this is regulated under. And I think we need to be more engaged in this. It's not once a year. It needs to be regular. Because these are very impactful decisions that we're making. So thank you for this. Thank you for agreeing to get those meetings started, Mayor. I look forward to that. I hope it's a fruitful conversation and an honest conversation about what we're actually facing. Thank you.
Alderman Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to say thank you for informing us that there are negotiations ongoing for the next fiscal year. I brought that up last week because it seemed like we're always playing catch-up. So I'm glad to hear that. Second, Mr. Mordock, I have a question. The very first line, in ordinance authorizing the extension. So is this extending only to the end of February of 2026, or is this extending beyond that?
Only
if we pass this as it's written right now?
The extension language is only to the end of February of 2026.
Thank you. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. So that means if we don't pass this on March 1, they turn the faucet off. We get nothing.
Well, if we don't
pass this,
they could do that now. If we do pass this, they would still be able to do that on March 1st if there's not some sort of additional agreement.
Okay. But in years past, apparently, we've just continued to extend, but that's been a separate ordinance.
That's correct.
Thank you. So this is really just for payment up to today and then for a few more weeks, right?
Correct.
So these are, so it's not for any, I mean, it's for a very little bit of future services. And I'm sorry, I'm not interrogating you, Mr. Mordock. You became my focal point, I guess. But declining the payment does not alleviate the obligation. So what worries me is if we vote this down, next thing you know, we're in a lawsuit. Next thing you know, we're paying interest on this $540,000 that we owe. It probably, what, 5 to 7%, I would guess. I don't remember exactly what the contract says. And we're probably going to lose because whether we like the quality of the service rendered or not doesn't really matter. They've rendered the services, we have to pay it. So that's where my concern is. But back to my first point, it's very important that we are in these negotiations. because this is how we can fix some of these giant red lines that were on the email we got. I think it resolves the current issue, and then we can move forward. So I plan to vote in favor of this ordinance, but I'm excited to see how these negotiations go. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Alderman Williams.
Oh, I'm sorry, I deferred to the aldermen who haven't had a chance to speak
Okay,
first.
sure. Alderman Rockford.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So, all we're asking as a council, as a city, is for somebody to come over and explain to us and show us data on a regular basis to show us what's happening, Mr. Ridley's been nothing but proactive when I've called him the last 4 times in the last 3 months for dog attacks, but again, we're just asking, we're paying a fee, pertaining to this ordinance, pass the ordinance, pay them, and let's move forward and let's get some communications going, whether it's an alderperson or staff member. Let's set up meetings. I think I talked to Mr. Fleischling, take 2 council members or take 2 staff members and meet with them on a regular basis, and so they can bring information back to us. But we hand out money to the Sangamon County, different departments, and we don't see anybody. We don't hear from anybody, and I think it's important to us just to give us some stats and some information on what's going on with the services that we're paying for. Pretty fair and simple. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Hanauer.
Thank you. I think one of the things we need to do as a city too is we need to educate our citizens on what the animal control will deal with and what they won't. A good example, we talked about barking dogs. That's not an animal control issue. That is a city ordinance issue. It's a noise I will tell you this, I had a different one. How about a rooster crowing? And I'm not kidding you. You live next door, you live around it, the people went crazy. And we ended up citing the people because of noise nuisance. So also, I don't know what the rules are with wild animals, whether they take them or not, but keep in mind, every time they come out, guess what? We're getting charged for that. I had a situation in one of the neighborhoods where somebody didn't like dogs. Well, the neighborhood had invisible fences. And so they were calling animal control 5 times a day because dogs were walking around. They were technically fenced, but they were walking around, and they thought that they were off a leash, so they kept calling animal control every time we got billed for that. So it's important that we along with the animal control get something out to educate our citizens on what they do compared to what our police do and that, because I don't think that has been that's been done in the past. And maybe that's a way to save some of our cost. Maybe that's the way to take some of the pressure off of their enforcement area. They're just like our police. I mean, our police, when they log in, they're 12 calls down. And I'm sure they're probably the same thing, So I just think that we just have to do a better job letting our people know. The other thing, and I agree with you, Mayor, I think we got to look at our ordinances. We want a no-kill shelter, but if you have a dog that tears up, that bites a dog or gets in a fight with a dog, when it goes, if you're the owner of that dog, you want your dog back. And the animal control's got to do what our laws are, in the city and what the county's laws are. So I mean, it's just a situation where we got to look at our rules. We got to see if there's a dog bite, is that a dog that needs to be, euthanized or what? That's on us. And some people will not like it if we choose one way or another. But it is something that we need to look at is our laws. And that's something we probably need to get with the county and try to keep their laws and our laws somewhat the same so that, you know, these guys aren't confused when they come in the city versus the county and whatnot. So anyway, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Gregory.
So, just a few things. I just want to make sure that, thank you, Mayor, for those conversations. I think those will help so we can really get to it. I think that we definitely need to get to a contract, a new contract, because that bothers me that we get charged every time they come out or something like that. I'm sure we got some type of agreement, but I know we help out in the county in other areas that you know, police, fire, and everything. I'm sure we're not charging them every time we go. We're just going to do our jobs. But, and this thing with the breeding, I was never in disagreement with it. I'm in disagreement that our housing inspectors are the ones that would be going around and do it, or our police or anybody in our staff, because we don't have staff to really do that. Give the animal control what they need. If they want to write tickets because the breeders ain't doing it right, let them write the stinking tickets. Why do we have to do it? You know what I'm saying? We're paying them to do animal control. Let them do animal control. Let them write the tickets and let them control it and do all of those things. And don't stick our fingers in it. Let them do their jobs. Give them some more people. Let them do their jobs. But we don't need to be in that, because then they got to come here. We're finding well, we may not know the whole situation. It's just going to be a mess. Let them do it. Put that in, you know, those are the type of things we need to get in this contract. All of this things that we said, put it in our contract. Let's try to get a quick one for 2 or 3 years, whatever we're comfortable about. Decide on the amount. Let's move on. This animal control. I mean, I get it. It's something that's going to keep doing it, but let's come up with a solution. Let's get this stuff done and let's move on. I mean, we know what we want. We know it's going to cost us a little bit more. We want better service. We're going to have to pay for it. We can probably do a little something. I imagine the mayor can squeeze something else out. I don't know. Thank you. Thank y'all.
The grocery
Good.
tax. Alderman Williams, do you have anything else to add?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, this was never about not paying. You know, I always knew that if we owe them, we had to pay them. What this was about was, this isn't the first time we've been here. On this council, we have done this exact same thing, paid because we owe, and we really didn't have a choice. So I'm really hoping when February 28th gets here, and the first gets here, that we have something in place. We have to face them and be as hard as they are about what we need and want in our community. Because I watched mines escalate from puppies and kittens to a kid being dragged. And what I'm scared of is going to be a human being, a baby or whatever, that gets deceased because of this. Then what? And the dog's being reported. The dog wasn't kept because we didn't have room. We have a no-kill. I mean, I've heard it all, and I understand it all. How can you bring the dog in if you're full? But there's got to be some spots or something somewhere how when those dogs are this extreme that they're killing puppies and kittens and dragging kids, that we have to have the time to hold that dog and do further investigation, and we may have to make that hard choice, you know, that people don't like. This dog needs to be put down. So I didn't want it to go down that I was trying to not pay them. I want to pay when we owe, we must pay. The second thing, please read the report. Please read the report. I've been doing this thing for a while and going back and forth with county members, county board members. And I can tell you this right now, all of us don't have the same experience with animal control. That's why we think differently. You know, but when we know our number, and I thought I knew my number, and it was even worse, because there's people that get a hold of animal control and get things, and that call gets registered without the alderman knowing. Now, the majority, yes, I knew, but I was shocked. So some of you may even be shocked. But some wards are just blessed like that. They don't have that, what I'm describing with this enforcement piece. I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to say we have to face the reality of what their data says. The data-driven information says this is all the calls and here's where they're coming from. And we should know what our call number is quarterly if you want to do that, Mayor, or whatever. But we need to know so that we know what's going on and we handle this a little more realistically. So I wasn't trying to not pay them. I was trying to do exactly what happened. get us to discuss, get us on record, get us to talk about it a little deeper instead of the county always just coming, oh, you owe me, and then we're going to extend. Oh, you owe me, we're going to extend. And when he gave me the answer to the last time we had a contract, it just blew me away. I'm like, we're not really doing our job. We're not doing what we should be doing while we're supposed to be taking care of the citizens with this type of service. I'm in talks with as far big as Chicago all the way down. Hey, what are y'all doing? And one thing we all agree on, it's costly, but it's something that when you're working with humans who own animals, has to be looked at. It has to be an important budget priority like other things are, because it can get out of control, and in my opinion, I just think it is. So thank you guys for at least registering it and coming in and let me know that you have thought about this, because it's time to, next month, that key day hits, we need to be in agreement with them, whether it's more trucks, more personnel, even if we have to give them more money. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not on the negotiating team, but we need to try to fix it instead of just doing what we've been doing the last few years. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Conley.
Thank you, Mayor. And Alderman Gregory, actually, you've raised something that's really valid. I think and I will just tell you, Mayor, I'll be up front because I'm sure the county will hear this, but part of my ask and part of my consideration for expanding this contract and us providing more funds, I'd like to see the county exactly do that, develop and enforce a countywide ordinance where the county is regulating how breeding animals are managed in this county. It should be consistent. It should be across the board. And again, I think it's something that we've danced around, and I think it's something that I would love to work with the county on doing that. I had language. I think we can brush that off and bring it back. But again, the supply is going on at a rate that is scary, and that's something I would like to absolutely bring up with the county. We can't regulate for them, but since we need to be paying, I think and Alderman Gregory was a good point. It shouldn't be a patchwork. It shouldn't be hit or miss. The county should be taking the lead. They're the lead on animal control. They should be the lead on registering and regulating how dogs are bred and how animals are bred within our county limits, including roosters. Yeah. Because yes, they are loud. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Alderwoman Purchase.
Thank you. I'm not going to belabor the point, but I do think we should have some type of town hall collectively together. I don't know how that would work with Open Meetings Act, because they also have their government body, so they each have a area that they represent as county board members, and we need help with educating the community about it. And I'm so glad I heard everything I'm always asking for. Can we get an update on something? Can we educate the community? So it's like music to my ears right now that we're actually all on the same page to do that. But I think it's their job to help educate the community. And it's just a pet peeve of mine. They sent the report out at 5 o'clock. We're coming with suggestions on having 2 of us sit down with them to talk about our needs. But when we request for someone to come and knowing that it's kind of like a sticky topic and then they don't show up, it is just really, really mind-blowing for me sometimes. We had that problem with Republic Services at one point. So I don't know, can they still at least come once a year to be able to explain what's going on? That's for you, Corporation.
It's for me. So yes, I think that's one of the items we can discuss. The 2-on-1 meetings would be internal meetings to direct our negotiating team.
Oh, yeah,
and so, but I've heard that multiple times here, and I've got it in my notes. So that's something that we will bring to the table.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the voting will now be open. Those in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And the motion passes with 10 voting yes, none voting no. And then Chief of Staff will be following up with each of you on the meetings. And I personally just want to thank the county because the original bill was much, much more expensive, and I begged for a lower bill. So I thank the county for the lower bill fiscally. Is there any unfinished business to come before the council from any of the council members? Alderwoman Conley.
Mayor, I just want to reiterate again my request to have a presentation to the city council on the 708 board that is an issue that will be before Sangamon County residents on the March ballot. I think it's really important that we have a formal presentation. We as a city become engaged in that process and that we be active partners in something that is a real impactful issue for our residents.
I will work with Corporation Council because I think we just want to make sure that if it's a city-sponsored event, we're not politicking in any way.
Right, I don't want
I'll
this
work
is,
with
you know how I
Corporation
feel
Council on
about
that.
campaigning in council chambers.
Right, so I just wanna
But
be
I think
careful.
just a factual and presentation on what a 708 board is, what does this, what would it do, how would it function? There are obviously opportunities to learn about that at other sources, but we do a lot of important work in here. We have a lot of important conversations, and I think we as a group should have the same information at the same time and have a conversation around that. So yes, not a campaign issue. I'm very firm that we don't allow that in here, but information, education, absolutely, we all could use that. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other unfinished business from the council? Seeing none, any new business to come before the council? Alderman Rockford.
He told me no.
I heard him. All right. Clerk, then I will let you bring citizens up who previously signed up to address the council.
I have Marcus Bates.
It's Marcus.
Marcus Bates.
I don't, Mayor, if I may, I don't
sir.
see him in the crowd, but I'm gonna try to connect you to. He has a fabulous project that he wants to pitch
Okay.
involving youth, and I'll connect you so you guys can talk.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Teresa Tran.
Sure, we can have someone come around and get your flyers for you, and they'll hand them out. Yep, there's someone,
The blood layer.
it's right here.
Thank you.
Good evening.
You didn't bring needles, did you?
Needles? Not this time. I will never. I think that's a safety hazard.
I will never, she says.
Yeah.
Must be slick paper. Thank you very much.
Very much.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. I am Teresa Tran. I am joined here tonight by Monica Zanetti. We are speaking not only to the City Council, but to the City of Springfield. I am here to share 3 upcoming events that support, celebrate, and uplift Asian communities in Springfield. This meeting should be recorded, so you can always play it back, pause to scan the QR codes. On the first page that you guys have, this is an event, Asian Social Mixer, organized by Springfield Asian Connect. This event is from 6 to 8 at the 5th Street Gym downtown this Thursday. It's meant to be a relaxed, social, a chance to mix, mingle, and connect with others who may share similar experiences. Many people in our community, particularly those of mixed and disconnected from their language or culture, have shared that sometimes they feel unsure whether they belong. This is an event about removing barriers and creating belonging. Gift cards have been generously donated by local Asian restaurants. You can scan the QR code for event details. Now, if you turn the page, I would like to share the second event. I am honored to be part of the committee planning the 2nd annual Lunar New Year event on Saturday, February 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Kidseum downtown. This will be a family-friendly event featuring a lion dance performance, cultural food, crafts, and interactive interactive activities for all ages. Take that.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Monica Zanetti. I represent the Springfield Cultural Arts Foundation. We have been putting out magazine in the spring and the fall. We also do a Day of the Dead event, Hispanic Heritage, and we also sponsored the Fay Folk Art Festival. We are a group of 6 board members, and we all do this, we all volunteer, no one is paid, and my friend Teresa asked me to help her out with this event. We absolutely want to join different cultures together and just enjoy our city, and we are asking you to come and participate and donate if you can, be a sponsor. The Springfield Culture Arts Foundation is the fiscal sponsor for this event, and everyone needs to get a ticket. Tickets are $10 for adults, and under 12, kids under 12 are free. We are going to have a fabulous time. We actually have a lion dancer, and that's going to be fabulous. You don't want to miss it here in Springfield. We are also seeking sponsors, so please check out our page. You can find us on Facebook or on the website, Springfield Cultural Arts Foundation, and that helps us do these events for the city. And we partner with all different clubs, and we're the fiscal agent to try to help these clubs get recognition and get more people involved. So this is a great opportunity. You can scan the QR code to purchase tickets and inquire about sponsorship opportunities. I would also like to thank all our wonderful sponsors, including the Kidsium Health and Science, the Springfield Cultural Arts Foundation, Springfield Memorial Hospital, Impact Life. Their support reflects a shared commitment to culture, health, and community in Springfield.
And Monica, how can we elevate this fantastic event?
How about we pair it with some saving lives? Maybe a blood drive.
I love it. Here, I'm happy to hold that. Wow, what a great idea. It is important to maintain a diverse donor pool that helps improve patient outcomes, particularly in communities with specific blood type and genetic markers. When we talk about blood donation, we are talking about real people in the community. A parent sitting beside their child during cancer treatment, a trauma victim rushed to the emergency room, a neighbor undergoing a surgery that may need life-saving blood products. These are moments when there's no substitute, blood cannot be manufactured. So we are hosting a Lunar New Year in-center blood drive on Wabash from Monday, February 2nd through Saturday, February 7th. There is a QR code to sign up for a donation time. Donors who successfully donate will receive a $20 e-gift card. You can donate it to a 501c3 or get points to get swag.
I want to say thank you for your time and continued support, and especially these cultural events. They're very important. It's important for us all to be together and be seen and celebrate each other. I look forward to growing this work together with you, with Teresa, and the city. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Ken Tasha.
I feel like I shouldn't have to tell a 3-term alderman that a no-kill shelter doesn't mean nobody dies. It means 90% of the animals in their care are placed somewhere. They do, in fact, still pick up dangerous animals and destroy them. I mean, these are just easy facts to find out when you pay attention to how things are run around here. It's infinitely frustrating to sit here time and time again and hear about issues with the funding that we're giving out to other organizations, groups, businesses, and be like, why are they just never here to talk about it? Because they don't respect you guys, that's why. You're going to give them the money anyways, aren't you? You don't have a choice. You're not going to find someone else, but as Roy's noted, the least you could do is hold them culpable for the money, right? I mean, that's the exact same thing we saw with our agreement here, right? With the Springfield-Sangamon County Growth Alliance. Weren't we just talking about how Ryan never shows up and wants to tell us what they're doing? We going to see them next week, guys? Hell, maybe animal control should be black-owned, right? We'd be counting every penny. We'd hold them here for hours. We'd make them stand here and tell us everything they know to get that money. Guess we don't have to give them the money, though, right? That's why we do it. We don't have to. We want to make them give us a reason to give them that money. We're going to do it with animal control? You don't think that's the least bit disrespectful? They send you a report at 5 p.m. What is this, a dead drop on Friday for the news? That's a joke. You guys are giving them a lot of money, and I don't have a problem with animal control. This isn't about them. You can find out more about them anytime you want. Come to a committee meeting. I don't ever see any of you guys there. That'll give you more information. That's not an attack on anyone, but I mean, you are the county. It's an 81% urban population, and I'm not really sure. There are a lot of urban centers in Sangamon County outside of Springfield. Am I missing something? So, I mean, I guess that's just, for me, it's the kind of consideration where it gets into this idea that, like, I don't understand how separate it is. I mean, and that would get into the next part that I will thank Alderwoman Conley for bringing up last week in the unfinished business. The Sangamon County Board has had presentations for the 708 Mental Health Committee and the Massey Commission's final report. How many of you have seen it? How many of you have gone online to the website? How many of you have reached out to the leaders of those organizations to book that presentation here? 26 calls to action. You guys are a big chunk of them. And one of the big ones is real coordination between the city and the county. Massive. Because we're, again, a chiefly urban population county in 81%, and we are the urban population. So it just seems odd that we're not talking about those things. I've been here for some of those budget meetings, and while I understand they're a brief overview, and I can hear every dollar and every penny specifically noted out, you know, like why they use this specific expensive paper, because they have to. It's just the way it is. We don't need a 20-minute presentation on it, right? But some things require a deeper, greater explanation. And that would, I think, would be one of them, considering that it's going to be on the referendum in March. We are one of the largest counties in Illinois without a mental health board. All they're asking is a really small increase in a sales tax. It's like $5 out of 100, something like that. I don't even think it's that much. It's like 50 cents out of $50. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I will note for you, when you guys talk about money for the unhoused, money for a lot of these things, you need to figure out where you're spending the money to get your best return. 70% of the inmates in county, as of August of last year, 70% of that population that were there that day, and their average is about 288 a day, 70% of them had mental health illnesses. The national average is 44%. So you need to consider that Sangamon County, or Springfield more specifically, has a mental health issue. So I would think it would behoove all of you to spend a lot more time making sure that's more public and being a lot more advocacy-based publicly on programs like this, because they will affect the way money gets spent here. The World Health Organization noted that for every dollar we invest in programs like that, whether it be mental health, youth outreach, things like that, you save $4 in outlay. Because the police answer 1,400 mental health calls a year. 1,400. And I don't see any of the people that you should be demanding be here reporting to you. So I would recommend setting those dates real quick after the budget meeting, guys. It's worth time and everyone else's.
Thank you.
Cindy Cantwell.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Cindy Cantwell, and I live near the 1300 block of West Washington Street. I'm here to raise concerns about the vacant apartment complex that has a long history of asbestos disturbance, repeated ownership changes, and buildings that are now fully open to the elements. The complex has been vacant and uninhabitable for the 9 years that I've lived on Mossman. Multiple owners promised redevelopment, and I attended a few of the early meetings, but none have delivered. Asbestos removal has been attempted in the past, but not according to legal standards. Buildings were not sealed, containment was incomplete, and the work was abandoned. Windows and doors are missing, stairwells and interiors are open to the wind and weather, as well as at least one roof that is compromised. Asbestos is most dangerous when disturbed, and these open, deteriorating structures are repeatedly disturbed naturally by the elements. The Springfield Airport, only 2 miles due north, reports average winds of 8 to 10 miles an hour. Gusts of 25 to 35 miles an hour occur regularly, and gusts over 40 miles an hour are not uncommon, with a recent event above 50 miles an hour. Even moderate winds at these levels is enough to move surface debris and resuspend fibers in unsecured structures. Given the open condition of the buildings, wind is a repeated disturbance mechanism. Nearby homes and streets and a student parking lot are downwind, making secondary exposure possible. I respectfully request the city confirm whether post-abatement inspections have been completed, whether current open conditions have been reassessed, whether wind-driven disturbance risk has been evaluated, and what enforcement mechanisms apply for unsecured hazardous structures. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ma'am, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Ms. Cantwell, if you'll stay there for just a second, your Alderwoman Conley would like to address this. Thank you.
And thank you, and we've been in contact before. I just want to point out, I actually, and I forgot to tell you this, Greg, or for Public Works, I did get a text today, fencing is down around the building now too.
Yeah.
And it goes up, it goes down, but this looks significantly down.
There's 7 entryways that I counted last week.
Yeah. I have asked, and we will get a more comprehensive report from legal. Is next week soon enough?
Yeah, I'll be able to give an update on our cases against both properties and also where the state's at with the asbestos on
With Illinois
1300.
EPA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will be getting more of an update. It is a really ugly situation, and I hate what you residents right there, those immediate impacts.
I'm more concerned about the students. The students have to touch their cars to enter them.
Yeah, and that would be.
They're constantly being compromised.
And I think that's actually something, that's a really good point, because people talk about the asbestos release. It would be good for us to get an understanding from the state. What exactly was the source of the asbestos? Was it glues that got disturbed? Because if that's the case, it's more difficult for those to become friable, to become released into the air. If it was insulation, I have actually been through the buildings with the owner. There's not a whole lot left in there.
No, there's not.
I
It's a
would
skeleton.
assume probably some of, but again, I'm assuming, and I don't want to do that, but I would hope that the asbestos release was more of a tile and not insulation, which again, makes it harder for there to be those secondary releases. But you're not wrong. We know that the state of those buildings are,
That's why
they
I'm
take
asking.
decrepit to a new level. So
That's why I'm asking for whether there's been any air.
yes, and that's what we need to get from the state. So again, I have asked that we have this done, and we will have it at our committee of the whole meeting next Tuesday, so that it will be, I'll make sure to let some of your other neighbors who are in constant contact also know that we will get a more formal and official report at our meeting, because it's beyond the definition of frustrating. It really is. Thank you for coming in tonight. I appreciate you coming in, and we'll keep this heat on as much as we can. I've pushed for the maximum fines for this owner. And there will be no conversation about modifying those or reducing those until we need to see meaningful action on their part, not on ours. We are in continuing enforcement as best as we can, and I promise you, I will never let that up.
And
Promise.
there's one more alderperson, Alderman Gregory.
I just would thank you so much for bringing this. I read your email. So Murdoch, I just want to get straight to the point. What, on situations like that's out there, and I got plenty of them, that people are not making the improvements, not meeting us where we're at. The houses or apartment buildings have been sitting vacant for years on years and years. At what point do we start using our eminent domain powers and just doing something with it?
Well, with
Talk to me.
this particular property, we don't have jurisdiction over the 1300 West Washington, over the actual apartments. What we were able to do with the house next to it was go on and abate the violations, to tear down those trees and then fine them, and then we can foreclose on that. We're actually currently in the process of litigating the amount of fines. So they have an attorney and they're arguing about that whole process. But when it comes to a situation like this where the state is involved, we can't touch the apartment buildings.
So the state got involved before we did. Okay, thank
Yes.
you, that's clear.
Well, we were involved, but once there was asbestos that was found there, the state took over, and then our inspectors are shut off. Our enforcement proceedings against the buildings themselves have to take a step back while the state requires them to do certain asbestos remediation.
Understood. So in situations where we don't run into that situation, do we have that tool to our ability?
We can take over abandoned or dangerous properties. There are mechanisms to do that. Typically, what we do is we demolish the property and then take a lien or take title to the property through that mechanism.
And if it doesn't have to be tore down, we'll surplus it or what?
If it does not have to be torn down?
It does not have to be tore down, but it's not been improved, it's been vacant for years,
Yeah.
et cetera, we could take it, surplus it.
We have the ability to do that. I'm not sure if we have. I would have to go back. I don't believe we've done it since I've been Corporation Counsel.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to ask that, thank you so much for bringing that, but I'm just, looking for ways for just the extremely vacant homes to really send people a message that we're done. I mean, we all got the email about the fly dump and, the report I get, the house needs to be tore down. I'm tired, I'm so sick of these vacant houses. I ain't got to what people stay in. Vacant and boarded up houses. I'll let some of you others handle that. But vacant and boarded up houses, we have to find a quicker way to get to them. We'll probably have an even bigger situation behind the governor's mansion with an even bigger stinking building that's boarded up right now. So we got to get to a point where we cannot let this happen. It's gonna be too much for us. We ain't got no more money to keep tearing down other people's properties and not getting our money back. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Roy Walton.
Pardon me? Oh, Mr. Walton, if you could give us 1 minute, they need to reset the clock. That's fine. Thank you, sir.
It's good. He just hasn't started talking.
Oh, it'll reset when he starts? Okay, sorry, Mr. Walton, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Roy Walton, and I'm addressing former issues that haven't been rectified. I asked multiple times for the participation of this board in dealing with certain issues. A host of ordinance violations, including fraud, negligence, misconduct, unprofessionalism, yet my efforts are continuously ignored. Because I am viewed by this municipal organization as a social delinquent with a criminal history, lacking social acceptance, and unworthy of constitutional protection. But what's really underneath these cheap headlines, I know, we all know, is fear. Fear because I am demanding accountability from the Springfield Police Department. Fear that I'm trying to end policing that serves as personal security for rich white people. Fear because I am demanding an end to execution of black and brown children. Fear that I want to build a movement, build a future where black and brown children can be children and be safe, and where they can strive. And this municipality is afraid because in that future, y'all have to lose y'all first place in line. I don't understand it. I have not only been respectful to this panel, I've acknowledged the efforts on behalf of this panel from the ones who make the efforts. But I don't understand how come I can't get an update on issues that was requested by particular aldermen from the police department. I can't understand why I can't get copies of my Freedom of Information Act without having a code word. I can't understand how y'all aware of the violations and refuse to reprimand y'all council to make a better city. Y'all have the power to call for the arrest of these people that's in violation of these ordinances, which is under the oath that all of you guys took. We studied talking about services being rendered that ain't up to contract standards and having to pay for them, but we doing the same thing. So that ain't nothing but karma for y'all, that y'all have to pay somebody and not get the services that y'all paying for. It's an example to show y'all. Look at what y'all got going on. Look in the mirror. Y'all study allowing the disrespect to the community because they're unaware. So as long as ain't nobody complaining, why fix it, right? No. Y'all sit up here and talk about asbestos buildings and bad gardens or overgrown trees. What about the real problems? The problems that people been trying to address with y'all, and because it's a part of y'all structure, y'all refuse to look at y'all foundation as having cracks in it. But eventually, the water damage is gonna sink in and it's gonna fall apart. So I just hope y'all paying attention. Thank y'all for listening. And I would like my updates from Chief Bill about the cameras on 4th Street, 4th and North Grand. And I still haven't heard anything about the 80-year-old lady being hit and nothing being done about it, or the police reports being improperly filled out. So when y'all get some time, can y'all contact the necessary people so I can get an update about these situations? Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you.
Robert Frazier.
Good evening, City Council. It's been a while. I've been here. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to come up and speak tonight. Robert Frazier, Director of Clean Slate Advocates, a non-for-profit 501c3. Our focus is the business of cleaning laundry and linen for with an emphasis on workforce development, mental and physical health, education. It's a direct effect to the destitute of the impoverished communities. Just yesterday, I had a conversation with a community leader in Springfield. The issue was about, I'll name it, the pass-through. Tonight I'm giving the 2025 results of the CSA program for 2025. We service 99,688 people. That's 99,688 people. The CSA Soap to Hope program starts with data. One of our data points is we work with education. For example, last grade completed. The results of that data showed that 14.9% of people we served completed grades 11 or less at 14.9%, including grades 6, 8, and 9, and 10. 57.2 people graduated from high school, 12th grade. 7.8 GED or vocational education. 12.4 went to some college, maybe weeks, maybe hours. 6.4 graduated either, actually went college 1 year or 2 years, and 1.3% went 4 years in college. Why is this? Many people have many different reasons. We have No Child Left Behind, then we had Every Student Succeeds Act, but in our schools, we just pass them through. Pass people through. They can't read, they can't write, and unfortunately, we deal with that because they have issues of money. Another data point focused on the Springfield people that we service, 26.5% lived in the north, northeast, and northwest of the city. 65.1 lived south, southeast, southwest, and east, and 8.4 residents lived in the west side. One more data of the average household income was $376.69, which includes all adults. Ethnicity, 35% white, 61% black, 4% other. Data point for elderly, we service 16,907 people, which represents 26.5% of the adults. We service 35,888 children, which represents 36% of the total count. Adults, 63,800, which represents 64%. Another point, homeless, we service 9,442, which represents 4.8% of the adults. Unhoused, which we count differently than homeless, is 2,361, which represents 3.7% of the total count of adults. Loads of laundry that we service was 667,704 loads of laundry. We provide soap, dryer sheets, bags, whatever is needed to complete the task. What Alderman Conley talked about, we need to have some representation on the Public Health Board, which I go every month. We're talking about animals. I'm talking about people. We need some buy-in, engagement of what's happening around our community at an alarming rate, that we capture this data on an everyday basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Aaron